Now let's talk a little bit more about the tablet menu over here. The A, you can see we finished, and you're probably curious what some of these buttons are. So this button here is these items nudge just by a little bit. That's equivalent to using the arrow keys on your keyboard, and the arrow keys on your keyboard are going to nudge the distance that's set in the Move by Dimension menu. Now this here we saw before was just similar to delete last point, which you can use D on the keyboard while you're drawing. You can use the right mouse button here in the tablet menu if you're using a tablet to delete the last point. So that's what this is about here. You also use this button directly, which ends up being easier than using the right mouse button menu item. At any rate, that's what that does. Now this OK with the arrows, you've probably seen this before in the right mouse button. It just means if you're drawing something like we're drawing a satin, let's say, and we're done, and we just want to continue drawing the same sort of satin, it's just going to do the same satin type. In this case, it's a line satin. OK just ends the drawing, so then you have to select some other new thing. Okay, let's get rid of these things. So I'm not using the mouse in any case here. This is all being done by the pen. I deleted some of my letter. That's okay. So here in the cross, what's interesting about the cross, so I mentioned the underlay being a little narrower. If this is set to 0 in the Satin menu, it's going to be right up to the edge of where the drawing is. But if you set it to a distance, it's going to be offset. In this case, we have an offset. We have the edge offset type set to offset. And so that automatically gets set when you use this duplicate and make coarse satin. And so these are some features that I don't know if anybody's played with yet, but these have been here for a while. I renamed them edge offsets so people would understand what they are. So that's what that is. This one here is actually, it takes a graphic and it'll draw a single. So in the case of the satin that's selected, which is the coarse satin, if I press this, it's going to put down a single. So if you look down here, the single, and I must have hit the mouse too many times, or the pen too many times, this is actually a single that represented the satin. So it was just the center line of the satin is what it was. And then this is, you've probably seen these before under these menus, this is join and split curves, and that becomes fairly useful. Like in this case, let's say I want to split this curve now. I've split it. It's split now on the screen here instead of using these drop-down menus. A lot of these things are very useful when you're actually digitizing. In this case, when we were digitizing this letter, you could see that we went through several steps just using this menu here. This one is modified points. If you already have items selected, you can do that. So for example, in this case, I have the line selected here. So if I select this, I can just go, the modified points is still active. I can just go ahead and play with the modified points. We have the snap, turn the snap on and off. And then we have the snap to stitch marker.